Hi, ladies and gents, and welcome back to episode 2 of Sunday League to Champions League. Chris here, aka Big Will. Today we have our first two games of the National League North, and hopefully we can get off to a good start. Transfer wise, it's been very, very difficult. We've not had a lot of money to play with, and realistically, I did suspect that it could be a little bit of a tough situation regarding that. We are waiting to hear back off a player at the moment for coming in on loan. We have managed to sign one player permanently on a 1 year deal, and we have also managed to loan in a midfielder already as we seek to complete the loan of another central midfielder. Kobe Brooks is the man that came in on a 1 year deal. He's a 20-year-old goalkeeper. He's he's got really good attributes considering his age and everything like that. But he's 5'5", and after I signed him, I realised how tall he was. I don't suspect I'm going to be playing him at all, to be quite honest. So a bit of a mistake on my part there, but he is a third choice goalkeeper anyway. So from a general perspective, hopefully we won't need to use him. And the player that has signed on loan is Owen Eames. He's coming on a season-long loan from Derby County, and to be quite honest, I quite like the look of him. Overall, I mean, yes, at this level, players aren't going to be the best of quality, but he's got good passing ability, he's got a good first touch, good work rate, fairly determined character, and his natural fitness is very, very good as well, which, considering the way that we're going to be playing, is definitely going to be required. Now, as I mentioned, we are still looking at another central midfielder to come in on loan. I'm hoping that between our two matches today, he will sign, and it means that the pressure will be relieved a little bit for our options in there, with the fact that we've got Oliver Wolby from the Youth Academy and Ben Conley from the Youth Academy currently in the first team squad. I was looking potentially to bring in another right back, but with Jordan Richards and Jack Stubbs being reasonably comfortable at playing in that position, we didn't really need to bring anyone else in. Left back, we're a little bit short on quality, but we do have plenty of options that can cover out there. So again, I'm not too concerned. So in relation to actual tactics, just bear me a second, I will find it. Here it is. We have set up with that diamond midfield. So it's going to be an interesting one for sure. We're using a gegenpress style in the end. I didn't go for the route one style because obviously my philosophy is to get that passing going and everything like that with the possession-based style of play. So I moved that to one side, but we are going to have the two options up front. So the left-sided striker is going to stay as that complete centre forward, and our target forward under normal circumstances will be a tracking centre forward. So he will come back and put that pressure on should the defensive line break past our striking line. Our attacking midfielder is just that when we are in possession, and he tracks back as well when needed. Our two central midfielders are wide central midfielders, so they will cover these lateral areas to the left and right hand side of the pitch. And then again, when it comes to the defensive side of things, they're going to be pressing central midfielders. So they're going to try and put the pressure on the opposition to try and win the ball back relatively quickly. We've got a deep lying playmaker in that defensive midfield, so we'll pick the ball up and look to play that more attacking style of pass that will really help us develop in our attacking game. But then he's going to drop deeper in the defensive midfield and end up becoming like a third centre back when it becomes defensive. Our two centre backs, I mean, they're just that. They're two centre backs, no nonsense when we're in possession. So they're not going to do all the passing out from the back or anything like that. They're going to find the simple pass and then boot it forward in effect. And we've got the two wing backs. So the wing backs are going to be pushing forward. When we're in defence, they're going to be more full-back type positions. So they're not going to range quite as much in terms of going forward. They're going to focus a lot more on the defensive side of the game. So going into our general fixtures side of things, again, just bear with me while I find it. Do, 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 do. There we go, fixture schedule. And like I said before, I am still trying to find my way around all of this at the moment and try and keep things as smooth as possible, but it's easier said than done when I've been used to playing FM24 for the last 2 years. Pre-season, we pretty much stacked our pre-season with as many friendlies as we could. We managed to get a little bit of money into the bank from all of those friendlies. And overall, a very successful pre-season, to be honest. We did play all of the sides that we played were non-league, but it was good to get the player fitness up. And again, we made roughly about £1,500 to £2,000 per game. So from that perspective, it worked out very well for the overall bank balance. And we go into our first game of the season against Leamington Spa at home. And following that up with a game against AFC Telford away. And as I mentioned before, between the two games, I am hopeful that we can finalise the signing of the other central midfielder on loan. So, oh no, it's actually putting the 5'5" goalkeeper in. I don't think I want that to happen. So we're going to have Hawkins in goal. Eza Nolim is going to be in at left back with Stokes and Posher in at centre back and Richards in the right back role. Weston is going to be there at the base of the midfield with Barton and McLean in central midfield, and Eames is going to play in behind Spencer and Weston. That's not going to get confusing, is it? When we've got, I think is it Callum Weston? I think it is. Nope, Charlie Weston. We've got Charlie Weston in midfield and Tony Weston as our striker. So I'll try and keep the differentiation there, but again, we'll have to see how we go with that. And Charlie Weston, realistically, is probably our most saleable asset as well. He could be worth up to £100,000. So from that general perspective, it could make the club a lot of money, especially considering the nature of where we stand in the footballing pyramid. And yeah, it's going to be a very interesting situation for us, I think. And going into everything, like I say, tactically, we're going to set up with the gegenpress. We have changed a few of the instructions slightly. So instead of having a very high defense, we're going to drop that back because we've not got a lot of pace in our defense realistically. And we're going to trigger the press, not completely all the time, but we are going to do it reasonably regularly as well. And yeah, we will see how we get on. It'll be an interesting start for us. I must say, when I was doing the beta save, I found a formation and it worked. And I did that with Rangers, incidentally, over a 4-season period and won all of the Scottish trophies. And yes, you may think it's easy to do that, but when you've got Celtic breathing down your necks all the time, it's easier said than done. It wasn't this formation, I must say, but, you know, we have to make do with what we've got in terms of the personnel we have. So we'll be interested to see how we get on with the two-striker system. And we will go from there. I will just double check to make sure I've got everything set up as I want it. Yes, I do. That is ideal. And we will see how we get on. And hopefully, like I said before, we can get off to a good start. But Leamington Spa looking to be quite controlling here in the early stages, and Walker has managed to get in behind and he's laid it across, and Owen Farmer has scored in 30 seconds. That is not the debut that we wanted here. That is a very, very poor start from our point of view. We've not even seen anything of the ball as of yet, and Leamington Spa are looking very much the better side as things stand, which is very much a concern. Hopefully we can pick things up. Like I say, we have been good in pre-season, but we have been playing teams that are very much lower league, so it's not the ideal situation, but it certainly worked to get confidence up. Here is Adam Barton again. Walker immediately winning possession, direct running from him back to Farmer, and now pays into Walker, and it's a good save in the end from Hawkins. Luckily, Walker was offside, but we're very much riding our luck in the early stages here. It's not looking particularly promising. Conceding a goal after 30 seconds in my management league debut is not ideal, and we certainly need to try and pick things up a little bit here. We do have quality in the side. We've proven that in pre-season, albeit against lesser teams. And of course, we don't actually have managerial shouts anymore in game like we did last season. So I can't, well, tell the lads to G themselves up a little bit. We just have to ride it out until half time and see what we can do with them. And yeah, it's going to be a very difficult one, I think, as we move forward. Owen Farmer, that's a good header from Ezenolin. But again, despite the fact that we've got plenty of players in that central area in midfield, we've been completely outmatched there. And Berridge has made it too. And this is not how I wanted things to go. Like I say, very optimistic from pre-season, but 2-0 down in half an hour. And we've not created a single highlight for ourselves at the moment. And it's been very, very disappointing. Here's Adam Barton into Spencer. Now Richards. Back to Spencer again. Holding on to possession. Needs to find the pass and does. Weston into McLean. Starts to try and charge forward. He was under pressure. Tony Weston plays it out wide to Ezenoli, who swings it in. And Spencer is there. And Spencer has been brought down. And we potentially, by the looks of things, have a penalty here. It was very much a lucky fall of play really for us. We need to certainly try and take advantage of this and get on the score sheet. It's very much against the run of play. Can we pull the goal back? Spencer fires in our first goal here at Curzon Ashton, and I'm just quite happy that we didn't completely fall away without being even remotely competitive. But very much lack of creativity from open play, which is a concern. But hopefully we can find a way of really pushing ourselves forward. But like I say, highlight-wise, very little in our favour. We've had the penalty, but other than that, it's been a very poor showing so far. And I'll tell the lads that we want a much better display. Come on, Chris, get your words out in the second half. And like I say, hopefully we can certainly find a way of doing so, but it is going to be quite tough going into this second half. Hopefully we can just try and build a little bit of momentum following that penalty. But again, from open play perspective, a very disappointing performance. And Leamington with a free kick. Farmer swings it into that far post. It's a good header clear, but it's fallen there for Walker. And luckily from our point of view, it's gone over the crossbar. But he has had a very good game for Leamington Spa today. And Hawkins here knocks it long, and Tony Weston does really well to get to that, but apparently he's handballed it, and he's just been given a talking to, luckily, so there's no major problem with that. And I think potentially we are going to have to try and change our mentality with the goalkeeping and such. And because of the gegenpress style, we need to be building momentum from the back, really, and he's not passing it out at all. And Eames, that's a really good run from him to skip past his man, squares it for Weston, and it's a big, big chance. It's the first real opportunity we've had from open play, and it was a huge opportunity, and he has to be scoring that. He really does. And disappointing, realistically. We could have drawn level. We have created a couple more chances in this second half. XG, to be fair, is actually quite equal between the two sides at the moment, but we just need to try and find a way to pick it up a bit, as Pasha's header is easily cleared and Walker now into Berridge. And I think I'm looking at this, and we are very much, obviously we don't have any wide players at the club, really. That is absolutely dreadful goalkeeping. Miro Pace with the goal, and Berridge absolutely launched it into the penalty area. Miro Pace didn't even get any pace on the header, but it looped back over the keeper and straight into the back of the net. And honestly, we deserve to get beaten based on the number of chances at the moment. But this has been a very poor showing so far. And certainly we have things to think about. Spencer with the header on, didn't really get it anywhere. Richards and Barton exchanging passes, and now Pasha looking over the top. Weston manages to head it on for Spencer. What a goal! What a fantastic strike that is from Jimmy Spencer. In off the underside of the crossbar on the half volley. And again, we're right back in it. Again, it's kind of the Route 1 style that they've not kind of taken on board the gegenpress system that we're looking at. But that was an unbelievable goal from Spencer. And he's the veteran of the two, of course. I expect something from Tony Weston similar to that, to be honest, because he's the younger player with a little bit more flair about him. But Jimmy Spencer, what a fantastic strike that was. And a brace for him on his first game. And Richards here with a free kick. I'm not expecting too much from this, to be honest. But we'll see what happens. It's going to be Richards. and he struck it superbly. And that is a really good save from Ravenhill to tip it over the crossbar. Really good effort there. And now we have a corner. It's going to be Stokes, who I think, yeah, Stokes is the centre back. Clearly, we don't have any good set piece takers. He swung it in, and it's easily cleared by Clark. And Farmer nods it out for a throwing on the other side. Can we find a way to get ourselves an equaliser? Ezenolim to McLean, back to Ezenolim. Weston into Ezenolim again. Good delivery. Spencer is there. It's off the crossbar. And he's managed to win possession back again. It's Eames, and he tried to play it back, and it's easily cleared by Walker. What an opportunity that was. And again, Spencer's had a very, very good game. And considering out of the two strikers, he's the target forward rather than the advance forward. He's looked a lot more dangerous than the youngster Tony Weston today. The physio there just running across the pitch to check on Leamington's player. We have got a couple of players struggling for fitness, but overall, I'm actually quite pleased with the fitness of the lads. Considering it's a gegenpress style, I think we've done quite well as the ball is whipped in and Ravenhill very assertively claiming the ball there. We've got 5 minutes of added time, 5 minutes to potentially try and grab an equaliser. We don't deserve one, I must say, but if we got one, I'd certainly take it. Barton into our right back and Spencer. I mean, he got the header, but there was no one really near him to aim at there, and it remains 3-2. And realistically, I'm not too disheartened by the performance. It's ended up being quite an even game in terms of shots on target. Leamington did have more attempts at goal in general, but I can't be too disappointed. It is non-league. There's going to be goals in every game. We just need to hope that as time goes on, that we can um, try and push through. I am reasonably proud of the team's efforts. We were certainly better in the second half, I must say. But from a general perspective, it, we need to improve. But Jimmy Spencer, that second goal from him, already in with a shout of goal of the season. And we can hope, can't we, for sure. I've just noticed some of the names in this division. Radcliffe there with George Glendon, and Buxton there with Ty Sodji, both former youth prospects at Manchester City, the team I support, of course. Um, they came through City's youth academy, I believe, many years ago. I think Ty Sodji was a bit more recent, in fact, but George Glendon was quite some time ago now. Um, but overall, yeah, we need wide players to change the system, and we're not going to be able to get any realistically. Um, Obviously, a number of the players at the club were making debuts as well. So I can't be too disheartened. The players are still going to get used to one another. It will take time, even though we've had a very busy pre-season. But overall, we certainly need to improve. Just bear with me a few moments. I will come back for that match against Telford. And like I say, hopefully we can get that other loan signing in for the midfield and just give us an extra boost in our options. And hopefully we can turn a defeat from this game into a win in that one. Okay then, here we go. The game against AFC Telford is incoming. Hopefully, we can get a better result in this one. And again, the assistant manager does prefer to put Kobe Brooks in there. He has got good qualities as a goalkeeper. He's just not tall enough. Hawkins is 6'2", so he's got a little bit more about him realistically. He is going to remain in goal. Um, the team is unchanged apart from our new signing. The loan deal that I mentioned before has come in. Jack James is coming on loan from Coventry City until the end of the season. Very good mental attributes. Physicals aren't great, to be quite honest, but he has got very good natural fitness. And again, that is something that we definitely need in that midfield. Technical attributes, very much improvable. He is only 18. Decent first touch and passing ability and tackling, but a very good technique on him as well. So hopefully we can see some good come from him playing in that central midfield for us. Other than that, the lineup is unchanged, and fingers crossed we can be a little bit more creative in this game. We did okay in the end against Leamington, but we just need to improve a little bit. And again, from a defensive perspective, it is going to be a little bit more difficult. We haven't got any pace in our defence, and the quality is, what's the term, questionable. I think is the best term for it. But fingers crossed we can get a result today. We need to really try and find our rhythm, and then fingers crossed, build a bit of momentum. That is going to be the ideal scenario. I think this first season was always going to be difficult anyway. We are inheriting a team that was put together by a different manager, realistically. And yes, there are some what I would term as outstanding talents within the squad, but I think that there is definitely some room to manoeuvre, and a number of these players may end up leaving come the end of the season when their contracts are up. In an ideal world, I would like to keep a couple of them as well, but realistically, it may not be possible, especially if they want larger terms on their contracts, because every player we have here are on a proper contract of one fashion or another. Early stages, looks like it could be a very boring game. Neither side creating anything. We've had the first shot of the game, and hopefully we can build on that. Weston and Richards exchanging passes on this right-hand side, and big risk there from Richards, and Dinanga's intercepted and plays it inside to Rowe, and now George back to Dinanga. He's split the defence, and it's a very, very nice goal from the Telford man. And again, defensively, we are very, very suspect there, and this is not looking particularly promising. Once again, defensively, very suspect from our point of view. Stokes here with a delivery into the penalty area. It's comfortably cleared away by Cawthorne. James picks it up, finds Stokes again. And now Posh, is it Posher? It is Posh. I keep calling him Pasha. And Spencer there with the strike. And I'll tell you, very unconvincing goalkeeping. But he did what our keeper can't seem to do, and that is keep the attempt out. And he just grips the ball and takes his time. Telford with the only shot on target have scored their goal. We've had a few shots on target, which is promising. But again, yet to take advantage of them. Here is Dinanga. Plays it into Piggott. And now Rowe into Leshabella. George plays it to this left-hand side, and Dinanga in loads of space again. And the fact that we've got a lack of wingers is clearly showing. And Matty Stenson has made it too, and we are very much a struggling team here. And tactically, I'm already debating making changes to the style of play that we're going to be looking at, because this is very abject, and we've been caught out twice already defensively by Dinanga on that left-hand side. We just haven't got the cover on the wings that we can even possibly try and bring anybody in for either. Here is Hawkins holding on to possession, rolls it out to Stokes. Forward to James, who has got a bit of space to run into here. Finds the pass into Eames. That's a lovely pass forward, and Tony Weston is in, and that is another good effort from him. Very similarly to the previous match, he just can't get it on target. Again, they've had 2 shots on target, Telford, and scored them. We've had 5 attempts on target now, and we are yet to find the back of the net. And again, from that perspective, we've not had a bad performance today. Richards has been caught out twice at right back, which is very poor from his point of view. And the match rating is dictating that as well. He's the only one really that's having a major struggle here with a 6.3 rating at the moment. Again, creativity-wise, I'm not too concerned today, but we have very much lacked that killer instinct in front of goal. Here is Richards, again, slowing the game down, and it's launched forward there, and Piggott does well with the header, and Stenson into George, who he's had a good game himself without getting on the score sheet. And Dinanga is in again, and he's hit the post this time. And again, Hawkins, very unconvincing goalkeeping from him. Tony Weston picks it up, charges down the left-hand side, and finds James. Now Ezanolim into James again. Weston, Eames, back into Charlie Weston this time. And now James into Ezanolim. This is a fantastic move, and Ezanolim again with a good attempt, but over the crossbar. And that was a really well-worked move from our point of view in the end. But it's just not happening. And I think, to be honest, I've tried to overcomplicate it tactically. I've got to remember we are in non-league, and I think, to be honest, we need to simplify things a little bit more and just give the players simple roles and be a little bit more defensively minded, realistically. Here is George into Leshabella, who gets into the penalty area. And again, there's no tackling coming from any of our boys there. And Hawkins finally manages to make a save as we approach half-time. And to be quite honest, I'm quite happy to see the half-time whistle blown. But Dinanga with a goal and an assist. George with the assist for Denanga, and Stenson with the goal as well for the opposition today. Again, realistically, looking at those match stats, the XG is very much in Telford's favour, but we've created far more opportunities and we've had a lot more of the ball. We've just not done anything with it. And it's not good enough. And I'm not entirely sure, realistically, what we can do to solve this. I know we've brought in the two central midfielders on loan as well. Financially, we are still within wage budget, which is fantastic. But from a general perspective, we can't bring anyone in permanently. Spencer into Eames, he couldn't quite keep it in. And Eames very much took a bit of a dive there by the looks of it. And the goal kick was given. And I've just noticed, obviously, we've got the pressing midfielders when we're out of possession. And it's leaving the centre of the pitch completely wide open. So I might have to change that for sure. Here's Stenson with a strike and it's over the crossbar. I think tactically we need to maybe reduce the pressing central midfielders. I think it's something we certainly need to have a look at. We're just going to pause there for a moment. I've just noticed that Adam Barton has picked up a bit of a knock, and I think if we do, we'll probably have screening central midfielders instead in there for the secondary roles. But Barton, with that knock, we are going to bring on McLean. At the end of the day, Barton's in his mid-30s now. We do need to rest him a little bit more regularly. And in terms of other options, they are minimal. Stobbs, I think, we'll bring on as well for Richards. We've actually got 5 substitutions now in non-league. I was unaware of that. I think on FM24, it was only 3 substitutions that you could have at this level. And to be honest, I think we'll bring Rodwell Grant on up front as well for Weston, who has had a bit of a tough time, unfortunately. We've still got a couple of substitutions that we can make, but I will leave it at that for now. And as the second half gets toward the hour mark, the substitutions have taken place, and hopefully we can find a way to get ourselves back in this game as Fried Harper finds Leshabalela, and Eza Nolim has gone straight through him and has received a yellow card for his troubles, and now they have a free kick, and it's Cranston to take. And he whips it into that far post. It's a good header away from Jimmy Spencer, of all people. And then Denanga's strike hits Jordan Piggott, and it goes into the back of the net. It wasn't meant by Piggott, but it struck him and gone in nonetheless. And we have just folded once again here defensively. Changes to be made for sure. Cranston here with the free kick, and Hawkins just about managed to keep that out. James does well to turn and get it out for a throw-in, but tactically, I've got to make some changes after this. This is very much unacceptable. And again, we've created opportunities, we've just not taken any. But we have got some big decisions to make, to be quite honest, and we need to find some wide players. I think that's what it's going to boil down to, unfortunately. Piggott plays it forward into Denanga. And again, Denanga's absolutely ruined us today. Now Meadows skips past his man with ease. Stenson back into Meadows, and there is number 4. I mean, I can't fault them. Defensively, we have been completely absent, and yeah, we have got, oh dearie me, we've got a lot of work to do, haven't we? Hey dear, this is going to be a very difficult puzzle to solve, I think. We've conceded 7 goals in my opening 2 games so far. And granted, we did score 2 in the first game, thanks to Spencer. But other than that, I mean, to be honest, we've not seen too many highlights for ourselves today. What is McLean shooting from there for? That is absolutely shocking. We have players in the penalty area. I think we're going to have to take a really big look at ourselves here, try and figure out a way to stop the defensive folding and try and build some momentum going forward. I mean, we've got 2 really good strikers, so I wanted to go 2 up front, but it's obviously, as you can see, it's not working. I mean, Telford have gone two up front, but they've got the wide players there. Got that creative spark, and it's very much been the difference today. And it's the one man, Denanga, who has really absolutely killed us off today. McLean into Posher, and now Stobbs coming down this right hand side. Can he get the cross in? Yes, he can. Rodwell Grant is there with the header, and again, completely off target. We need to be testing the goalkeeper. And again, we've created more opportunities today, but we've had absolutely nothing go our way, and that is a very, very poor performance. And yep, I'm going to be doing some tactical changes before the next episode, that is for sure. Yeah, that is a big kick in the teeth, that one. Well, I'm going to reset the tactics completely, probably, and we'll see what we can come up with in the meantime. In terms of our upcoming schedule, I don't want to be going too far ahead realistically, but we've still got another 4 games in August. So we'll probably come back for the last couple of games in September. Obviously, from that perspective, we'll have had all of the transfer window, the proper transfer window, should I say, will have finished. Big games in there as well, likes of Chester and Buxton away, Merthyr and Kidderminster at home, and Chorley at home. In fact, we'll probably come back for Chorley. It's a relatively close proximity, Chorley, so it'll be a reasonable derby game, that one. We'll come back for Chorley and Bedford. But hopefully, we can find a way of getting ourselves right tactically that we can get some points on the board. Yeah, not a great start. So until next time, guys, thank you very much for your support. Please like and subscribe to the channel. It is all greatly appreciated. I will see you all next time. This is Big Will, signing away.